Need to think of some other things to say. Oh my god.
Kira, Tom doesn't sound like that.
Oh my god, Daddy Tom, please stop. Like, Ashton, fix the goddamn settings.
How do we fix Dean?
Slay, Daddy Queen, pussy, ass. Oh no, Kiara's gonna fuck. This is gonna be Liberal Democrat attack material by the end of the day. Oh no. I need more things to say quick before we actually start taking the debate seriously. Oh my god. Oh my fucking god. The thing is, like, Bella, you sound like... Hold on, what's that? Oh, do you like that, Daddy?
Oh my day.
What the fuck? Yes, Queen Connor, Novak. Interviews with like people on like the BBC where they do the voice modulator to hide their identity. That's what you sound like.
Right.
You need to like start talking about how you've stabbed people in the past. Does he actually sound? It doesn't sound normal to me. He sounds deep voiced on my end.
No, but for Dean, why do you sound like that?
I don't know. I've done nothing on my end. I've done nothing. It's the goddamn G. It's the channel.
Yeah, bro, this is a whole new person. Yeah, can we get Harry Madden here, please?
Yeah, someone add him quick. Move him to the speaker role. Whoever controls this, I don't control it for some reason. There we go. Okay. Clarkson, you there?
Indeed.
Okay. What Clarkson sounds normal, but I'm yassified. What the hell? All right. Okay. Should we start doing this debate and then should we start?
Yes, please.
We're gonna have to reintroduce this. Hello, Queens. Welcome to Yassified Ireland election debate with your host, Queen Diana Spencer. We are joined by the representative for the Labour Party, Valarist, and the representative for Sinn Féin, William Clarkson. I'm going to have to redo some of the questions.
If Middletown and Glasgow stays in like practical use, if we want to keep that village association going, right? Because if Bunkrana becomes the number one, we're going to have to support a new project in Bunkrana, and I'm more than open for the people that lead the current Clark Village Association to come over to Bunkrana, pick an area, and decide we want to look after this place. We want to give it progress. We want to look after it. We want to make events there. I'm more than open for them to go and do that in Bunkrana. More than open to it, and I'll see to it that we recognise them and we support them. That's something that Sinn Féin did not want to do.
Clarkson, any comments?
None from me.
None at all? Alright, we'll move to the very next question, which I totally have planned, because I totally have not gone through all of my questions. Yep, I'm going to have to repeat a few of these. Then again, the audio cut out earlier, so it doesn't matter if we repeat them, because people couldn't even hear them earlier. Anyway. Question here, regarding business, is essentially just asking, the only thing that's done in business these days is career fairs, and that's about it. So what will you do in power, each of your parties, to help businesses in this community? We'll start with Clarkson.
Well, obviously the government will introduce multiple aspects of support for new businesses, including maintaining our highly successful bot, the government department
Highly
of
successful.
Business Offence and
Little bit
Enterprise and Innovation bot, rather, and also giving support to the businesses that want to introduce themselves in Ireland, which would increase the productivity and variation of our public sector. Thank you, Gene.
And now Valorist.
I'm not completely sure if that bot is highly successful, William. I mean, it had its issues.
Of course, as most do.
Yeah, but more issues than it should have. I think there's a fair point to make that it led to inflation of the census numbers. Now, me and Labour think that the thing that we need to go back to the fundamentals, and the fundamentals are making sure that we have a working census system. We need to be able to count employment, right? So we're going to be establishing the Central Statistics Office, and that's going to handle censuses. We're not just going to keep census as the only way we see employment figures, right? Labour is going to put provisions in place to make sure that we not only get employment numbers from censuses, but that we can watch employment numbers, we can monitor them throughout the term, not just at the 2 censuses per term, right? We're going to make sure that we know employment numbers always, and unlike Sinn Féin, we're not going to inflate the numbers by putting them in for business owners, because that's something that I think is unacceptable. I'll recollect that entire event for the people that are listening. Of course, I own a little media enterprise. When the census came around, I tried to use Sinn Féin's very questionable bot. I typed in my employees. Valorous Media Group has got 25 domestic employees in total and no foreign employees. So I tried to put in 25. The bot read it as 2. It inputted 2. I informed a registrar that this was incorrect. This wasn't the right value. Without being prompted, the Minister for Business, Enterprise and Innovation then nicknamed himself me and tried to put in a number on my behalf. Now, he didn't know the number. I didn't tell the registrar the actual number because I wasn't asked. The Minister for Business, Enterprise and Innovation, who is Facilio Quinley and is being re-proposed by Sinn Féin, so that man will be in power again if you decide to vote for them. He just put in a random number for me. Now, how can I know he didn't put in 50 or 60 and inflate the numbers? We can't trust the census numbers because of this bot. And because of its failures, and Sinn Féin saying they're going to maintain it, quite frankly, it makes them unelectable.
Mm-hmm. Any comments, Clarkson, in response?
Well,
I've got more comments as well.
Sorry?
Oh.
I've got more comments. I'll wait for Clarkson.
No, go on.
Go ahead.
Okay. Recently, I was also told that Facilio Quinley, who you are proposing for Minister for Business, Enterprise and Innovation, did not comply with a Freedom of Information request. That's illegal. Now, he's obviously liable to legal action for that, and that's likely to be taken. But the fact that you're proposing, I mean, it's illegal. The Information Commissioner, I'm pretty sure, condemned him for that and recommended legal action to the people who asked for the Freedom of Information request. Now, Clarkson, I personally want to know how you can continue to stand by Facilio after these shortcomings. And what was the word you used earlier? Injustices?
Well, I personally believe that it should be based on the individual's capacity to function in their profession. Facilio Quinley has displayed a great level of competence and professionalism throughout his duty, and that is why I'm proposing him as our continuous Minister for Business, Enterprise and Innovation. Thank you.
Now, William, I'm not sure about competence and professionalism when the main highlights of his term are a broken bot who he had to put numbers in on behalf of, and failure to comply with a lawful freedom of information request, which he is liable to prosecution for. I mean, I wouldn't be propping up Facilio if I knew that he was doing that kind of stuff, and I'm not sure why you're continuing to stand by him. Right now, I see no difference between you and Michael McGrath. You're just standing by completely illegal, wrong, and unethical practices, and in some cases, just choosing to ignore it completely. This kind of ignorance makes you unelectable, William. Surely you can see this, right?
Well, however, as you mentioned earlier, the freedom of information request can't be prosecuted due to a lack of information given regarding the request. So, are you attempting to mislead individuals here?
No, I'm not misleading anyone. I'm getting my words directly from the Information Commissioner, who runs freedom of information requests. So, I mean, I don't think I could be misleading anyone. If you've got an issue with the Information Commissioner who runs freedom of information requests, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised, since you clearly don't want to comply with a lawful one. So I wouldn't be surprised if you've got an issue with the Information Commissioner.
I think we will move on to the very next question. Seeing as I'm running out as well, feel free to send in questions via Ireland General. If they're good, I'll actually say them. Anyway, Queens, we will move on to a question I asked earlier. Seeing as we had one directed at Valor, I'll also repeat the one that was directed towards Sinn Féin. And that question is as follows, if it's remembered. It was something along the lines of, Sinn Féin were found to have violated campaign law with the whole importation fiasco and scandal. Does Sinn Féin have a statement in regards to that, especially considering that the person at the centre of that, Michael McGrath, is in the proposed cabinet for Sinn Féin? Clarkson, your statement?
Thank you very much. Regarding the voting infraction, of course, under the new administration, as I've stated many times, Sinn Féin will obviously attempt to follow through with the Electoral Commission's request to follow legal practices and not to break them. Sinn Féin will also aim to promote this democratic right and will not go back on one's mistakes. Thank you very much, Dean.
Valorist, any response?
Dean, the person who committed these undemocratic acts, and I'm pretty sure William actually condemned those kind of acts, these undemocratic voter importation, that kind of stuff, illegal campaigning before campaigning's open, this kind of stuff. William condemned it earlier. He said that Michael McGrath was wrong to do this, and in turn, I think he condemned Michael McGrath.
I did not condemn Michael McGrath in question. I condemned the act.
You condemned the act, but you don't condemn the individual that committed the act. Now, I want you to walk me through your thought process there. What's the point in condemning what he did, but not the person who did it?
Well, obviously, vote importation is against the standing requirements of the Electoral Commission's stance on campaigning regulations. However, I do believe that Michael has moved on from these mistakes and will go on to be a more productive and professional individual, and that is why I've proposed him as my Minister of Defence. He has all the capabilities of that portfolio, and I believe he will lead Ireland in that right direction. Thank you.
Dean, you'll remember earlier, I went through most of Michael McGrath's shortcomings in this nation, and I showed you how many chances we've given Michael McGrath. We gave him a chance when he got exposed as a terrorist, right? We gave him a chance, then we completely forgave it, right? We gave him a chance. We basically forgave him for the whole illegal voter importation, all of that stuff. We gave him a chance after that. We forgot about it. We let him continue with his mandate. I mean, Labour didn't. We were fighting the whole time. We didn't see anyone else fighting against that massive injustice. And now we have William here asking us to give Michael another chance, saying, I have full faith in Michael. No one else does, William. You don't see it. We all do. Michael is the weakest link. His time in politics has to be over. And I don't know how you're not seeing this.
Clarkson, any response to what Valerie said?
Well, regardless of how many mistakes an individual makes, if they're an impacting difference to productivity, that individual should be kept. And Michael McGrath is a huge asset to Ireland's political stability, and as I say, that is why I've proposed it for my Minister of Defence. I'm not going to propose individuals who will bring little change to Ireland. I'm proposing an individual who has the capabilities to bring Ireland forward. Thank you, Dean.
William, you're not going to propose individuals who bring little change when your entire manifesto just says you're going to maintain this, keep the same that, maintain this, keep the same that. It's ironic that you're saying that you're not going to bring someone that's going to maintain the status quo when your party has no ambition whatsoever. I've read your manifesto, I think, twice now. I don't see any progressive policies. I don't see any radical change. I don't see anything that makes you worth voting for, unless we want to maintain what's been a really mediocre, lackluster government with no ambition.
Well, of course, we're going to maintain the policies that make Ireland productive, but those that do not, we will, of course, bring change, like introducing key legislation to affect those areas which bring a negative nature. And yes, well, any parts of the government or the departments in question which don't function right will be amended accordingly. Thank you, Dean.
Key legislation like the Local Government Act that got declined.
I think we'll move on now because we do have quite a few questions to get through, Queens. We need to continue slaying. So moving on, we do have another question that's come in. I'll keep bouncing between one towards Sinn Féin, one towards Labour, that kind of format. So one towards Labour now, which I'll do if I can quickly find it. Oh wait, there are none. I'm gonna have to ask a general one. This general question that I will ask is as follows. Here we go. Yeah, found it. This one's actually interesting. Over the past several terms, we have seen the National Ambulance Service created, however, subsequently forgotten. What are the parties planning on doing to make sure the NAS is active once again and is a public service that actually slays the public? Although not slaying physically, that would be that's the army. We'll go to Clarkson for that first.
Well, under the new prerogative of the Department for Local Government, we will be introducing a new format for how the National Ambulance Service can function, and we'll also be introducing a legislative book which concerns the structure of the National Ambulance Service and how it will function accordingly without any mistakes. Thank you, Dean.
And Valerist?
Thank you, Dean. The NAS, it needs serious work, right? I mean, I was the man that wrote the bill to introduce it. During my time as Taoiseach, we saw it brought into Glasgow. We saw general successful integration. Unfortunately, of course, Glasgow didn't come to be a very, very good game. But Buncrana will be one, and the NAS will have serious strength in Buncrana. We're going to make sure of that. We're going to work with developers to ensure that NAS get what they need to operate in Buncrana properly and not just there for roleplay purposes. Sinn Féin have given no updates on the NAS. What their manifesto says, they're going to conduct a quick review within the first week of office pertaining to the NAS. Now, as the ones that were doing the most work on it last term, I personally would see more. I want to see more from them, especially their Minister for Local Government, who was spearheading their NAS campaign. He's been accused of xenophobia and all sorts of bad stuff. They're standing by him again. Do you really want a xenophobic local government minister running our NAS? I don't. I want a good man running our NAS. I don't want a xenophobe. I know about the people watching this right now, but discrimination should never be in any kind of public service. But of course, they're standing by a local government minister who's been accused of that kind of stuff. I mean, you want to see more. You want to see more from Sinn Féin. You want to see the party that's just served the full term with an albeit cheated mandate. You want to see them giving you good policies and a reason for you to elect them again. They won, I say that with quotation marks, 91 votes last term. You want to see them fighting for that again? They're not.
Mm-hmm. And Clarkson, any response?
Well, I would like to raise the point of, if you believe that we won by a cheated mandate, the government went on to be a very successful and productive one. So what are your complaints about the government's productivity throughout the term, which brought great change to Ireland, with over 60 foreign engagements and 2 massive career fairs, which really impacted Ireland's progressive nature.
It's not just me who thinks you want to cheat mandate. You, of course, condemned the voter importation and acknowledged it. So it's you as well who recognise the fact that your government won off the back of a not really democratically won mandate. But we'll move on. There's no real evidence to prove that career fairs work, right? That's why Labour's policy of maintaining employment numbers throughout the term and monitoring them while we host careers fairs will look to prove that careers fairs do actually make an effect, right? Because obviously we saw a massive bump in employment. I've already explained how that could probably be attributed to artificial inflation of those numbers, right? Because your bot messed up continuously. Simple as. I mean, it doesn't make sense to me, the policies that you're putting down, because they directly conflict with something else that you've said.
Any response, Doctor?
Well, on the topic of the bot, functionality will be corrected accordingly, and the mistakes will hopefully be rectified.
We were told that they were rectified. You said this an hour ago in this debate.
Yes.
You said the bot is now successful.
It is.
Facilio Quinley himself said the bot's working. He said this maybe 20 times. Every single time I criticised on him, he said the bot's working. It's working fine. And you've just now said you're going to fix and rectify the bot. You said the bot works. Now you're saying it doesn't. Are you going to make your mind up? Tell the people. They're listening.
I said the bot is working, but if any future mistakes concerning the bot arise, they will be rectified accordingly.
But how can the people trust this bot? It's already made its mistakes. I've had countless business owners to come to me. Instead of the minister, they trust me more, the shadow minister. They've come to me and told me the bot does not work. It's inputted the wrong number. Facilio's come and put in an artificial one. How can the business owners trust the bot? I mean, if anything, I think if you try and use that bot again, business owners are just going to boycott the census. It would be a smart move considering the bot does not work. It's that simple.
Is that all, gentlemen?
Yes, that is all from me.
Right, okay. We do have a question directed towards Sinn Féin here. I'll say it mostly because, we all here support, all us queens and princesses, we all support hashtag Brits out, so I feel like this is a very important question that's just come up, which is the following. And this is to Clarkson. In Sinn Féin's campaign, they have claimed that their party is, quote, aiming for Irish reunification, end quote. How do they plan on reunifying Ireland? This is directed to William Clarkson.
Thank you, Dean. Well, of course, as Sinn Féin's political ideological stance is for a united Ireland, we will work closely with the Northern Ireland Authority to ensure the best possible deal for a potential Irish unification. Regardless of how difficult this may be, Sinn Féin's aspiration has always been to unify Ireland, and under this new administration, that will not change. Thank you, Dean.
And a question to Labour along the same topic that I'll add in. Does Labour have a stance towards unification with Northern Ireland or a border poll at all? Valerist?
Well, Labour's a Republican party, of course, right? But the thing is, Irish reunification is nothing more than idealism at this point, right? We've seen time and time again. Of course, we had the conflict of the United Kingdom government last term around the start of August. It's not going to come, no matter how hard we try. Labour's understood this. We're realists. We understand that pursuing Irish reunification is a waste of really good time that could be spent on working on domestic policies, right? Fulfilling our domestic promises. Everyone wants the 32, right? And I think I was the Taoiseach that worked most towards getting it. I got us land off the British. They held 3 ports. Of course, thank you, Dean, for fulfilling that as well when we signed the treaty.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, thank you, mate. Yeah, so Labour have got me as Taoiseach. Of course, I'm the man that's worked the most to getting Irish land back to Ireland. Realistically, while I do view reunification as an idealist policy, and domestic practices should be prioritised, if anyone's going to bring about Irish reunification, your best shot is us. Simple as.
I have another question that I'll direct to Labour now because Sinn Féin's had quite a few. And this one's directed quite exactly to you, actually, like personally. That you are obviously in Labour, not in that way, you're in the Labour Party of Ireland. And you obviously used to lead Sinn Féin and used to be a Taoiseach for Sinn Féin. This question is asking, why did you jump between parties, and are you planning a return to Sinn Féin at any point in the future?
Now, my jump of parties was unprecedented, right? You don't really see former Taoiseach just switch to a different party like that, right? But the fact is, Labour came to me and gave me an offer, and I couldn't refuse that kind of offer, right? They gave me the chance to stand by one of my best friends, Tom Whitaker, one of the strongest men that I know, to stand by him and give Ireland a better future. Now, when I saw Michael McGrath in charge of Sinn Féin, and when I see William Clarkson in charge of Sinn Féin now, I don't see them taking Ireland in the right direction. I see them running not only their own party, but the nation into the ground. Tom Whitaker is the man that can change that. Tom Whitaker will send us on a path upwards rather than downwards. He'll send us towards progress rather than regression and maintenance. He'll put us forward. And it's as simple as that. And that's why I decided to stand by him, and why I continue to stand by him at Labour.
I will grant William Clarkson the ability to respond to that if he wishes.
Of course, bear with me a moment. I would like to announce that when Tom was... Oh, wait a minute, it's having a bit of technical errors.
That's alright.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. You can continue.
I would like to comment on how Valorous says that Tom is one of his closest political colleagues. If Ireland really wants its political party and government to lead them in the right direction, surely that they want that leader of the political organisation to show up to the legislative body, being the Dáil in this case. I would like to point out that Tom's attendance to the Dáil was quite poor, and he was not there at every session like I was. How can the Irish people rely on a proposed leader of Ireland who can't even show up to legislative sessions? Baffles me. Do tell.
William, I've sent the Oractus link in the general chat. You'll see that Tom's attendance was in fact 100% to the door, so you've effectively just lied to everyone here.
Not effectively. He arrived
not effectively.
late to several sessions, which didn't allow him to vote on certain legislative procedure. I was there from the start, and that's why Sinn Féin is the right direction, as we maintained good attendance throughout the term, and that is why we are the most approachable and electable party.
William, Tom has all greens, and green means attended 100%, well, between 80 and 100% of the session.
Yes.
Tom voted on literally every piece of legislation. You are lying to the people right now.
I'm not lying to the people. I'm merely saying that he arrived late to several sessions, which would impact on his voting abilities to the legislation.
Do you have any
I will have
evidence of
to
that?
sadly interrupt you both. We do have a member of the public who is about to deliver a question via voice call. I will welcome either Ashton or Dean, whoever the moderator is for this, to bring them on to speak very quickly and ask their lovely question. We'll see them in just a second. Here we go. It's Jeremy. Jeremy, my homie, how are you doing? Ask a question.
I'm not too bad. Good evening, party leaders. I just have one very quick question on foreign relations. How do the parties wish to improve foreign relations, and is there any specific country they wish to target to improve those foreign relations?
I
will go to Clarkson for that.
Thank you very much, and I thank Jeremy for his question regarding the Foreign Office. Throughout the Sinn Féin's previous term, the Irish Foreign Office maintained a global sense of cooperation with multiple nations, so that I personally believe that targeting one specific nation to maintain good diplomatic structure is not the right way to go. If Ireland wants a more cooperative international stance, it would be more reasonable to cooperate with each and every country in the international sphere to guarantee international cooperation and diplomatic appropriation. Thank you.
Now, Valorous.
Of course, international cooperation is extremely important. That's why Labour's pledging to unlike Sinn Féin, who in terms of the foreign department just had sit-downs with a bunch of nations and said, "Hi, how are you doing?" at Ivy House every single week. We're going to work on international cooperation by making military alliances to strengthen Oglig na Éireann, as opposed to Sinn Féin proposing putting their boots on the ground in Katanga to fight their own interests. In terms of international cooperation, we're going to repeal the Neutrality Act to get more involved in the international sphere. We're going to have a Commonwealth tour. We're going to make sure we stand strong side by side with our brothers internationally. And we're going to make sure that, unlike Sinn Féin, we don't just sit down and have a chat with them every week.
I thank you very much, Jeremy, for your question. You are allowed to go back to your chair in the audience. We have just been informed that the representative for Fianna Fáil is back. We do have a representative, Connor F. Ahern. I'm not going to try to pronounce that surname. Connor is here, and he's going to represent.
Perfectly, that was perfect.
All right, but yes, welcome, Connor. I will actually ask a question to you because we did have a Fianna Fáil related question earlier this evening that I couldn't ask due to Connor Stride being away, but we will ask it now. This is from an anonymous person, and they have asked, why did your party support Sinn Féin throughout their term in office, despite accusations of sexism, xenophobia, leaks, and proposals of deploying troops in Katanga for personal reasons? So go ahead, Connor, take it away.
Thank you for the question. So the outline was sexism. I think that was also proven by someone, but we have evidence that the phrase, if I can try to find the phrase, it was something to do with screaming like women, if I'm correct. That was not intended to be sexist, therefore we continue to support Sinn Féin. And that's why we didn't drop out of the government or anything like that. And we believe that Sinn Féin really did carry the country through, and that's why we've continued to support them and everything they've been doing, and they had a pretty stable government for the most part.
Connor, it doesn't matter about your intentions. If you say screaming like woman, that's sexist, whether you meant it to be sexist or not.
Is it sexist? Define how it's sexist.
Screaming like woman. Are you not seeing this?
Not really. Have you not ever said that before?
No, I've never said that before, Connor.
I do hear it on a daily basis, and I don't think there is or ever was an intention for sexism.
That's alarming. That's really alarming.
I will go to Clarkson to give a response if he would like to, and then we'll have an audience question because we do have one I think coming in. Speak to Dean, by the way, the other Welsh, if you want to ask a question in VC, by the way, because he's the mod for this. Anyway, Clarkson, take it away.
Thank you very much, Dean. I would like to reciprocate on the behalf that individuals do consider remarks to be sexist, but that is down to the individual and the way they interpret it. That remark was not considered, and the individual who launched that remark, it was not intended to come across as sexist, and therefore it is up to the person concerned to decide whether it's sexist or not. It's the personal opinion of the individual to make judgment on that, and the individual who released the comment did not intend for it to come out in a sexist capacity. Thank you, Dean.
William,
Yeah.
you're the Minister for Justice and Equality last term, met India 99. He was going around, when we were in the door arguing on legislation, he called the leader of the opposition a little girl numerous times, like sit down little girl, statements that he's talking down to them using gendered language. He did that to the Can caller as well. Now, I received affidavits from the leader of the opposition and the Can caller. They took serious offence to this. He literally went around calling deputies and the Can caller a little girl, talking down to them using gendered language. Now, this is, of course, screaming like women is another example of Sinn Féin being sexist as hell. You're not electable. Do you stand by those comments? I mean, Michael McGrath did. If anything, he saw it as a satirical point, and you've got him as your Taoiseach. Do you stand by those sexist comments?
I myself would not make such comments, but I also go back to the fact that I raised earlier, that people can interpret comments relating to a potential sexist nature in their own regard. I personally did not consider them to be offensive to me as an individual, but I can see
how... You're not a girl. You're not a girl. Little girl doesn't apply to you. You're not a girl. You can't speak on behalf of the victims. But you're saying, also... I didn't find it sexist, so it can't be a sexist comment. That makes no sense, William.
You just said it was sexist, and you're a male as well, so isn't that a conflicting story of accounts?
No, because I literally said I have affidavits from them themselves saying they took great offence to the very obviously sexist statement. I don't have to be a girl to see it as sexist, but you being a man sitting here and saying that's not a sexist comment because it doesn't apply to me, that's effectively what you're saying. It makes no sense, William. Can you not see this?
I can see how it would affect certain individuals' views on a sexist behalf. However, I myself
I am being told by the network to move it along, so I will have to move it along. I apologise, gentlemen. I do encourage you to use your DMs because, you know, what happens in the bedroom stays in the bedroom. Anyway,
I just
this
checked,
next
General.
question we have from a member of the public, Epic Noah, who will be joining us just momentarily to ask his question to both of our representatives. So if we can bring Epic Noah on to ask his question, that'd be wonderful. Let's see if we can. As if he's here, I hope he is. He better be, otherwise he will be harmed in mental ways, not physically. That would be illegal. So yeah, someone bring him on, quick, pronto. I can only waffle for so long before he can get here. Like, we're gonna wait patiently for someone to bring Epic Noah onto the stage, because Jesus Christ, come on. Someone give me mod in this bloody stage channel, like, honestly. He's been invited. Noah, stop going toilet and get here. Get on this stage. We'll come back to him very soon. I'll ask some quickfire questions, actually. I'll do quickfire while we wait for him. Very simple questions. Membership of the European Union, yes or no? We'll start with Sinn Féin.
Sinn Féin is open to negotiations with the European Union, but Sinn Féin is not intending to become a member state of the European Union. We believe that maintaining key relations with intergovernmental organisations is appropriate, but we do not want to join. Thank you.
I'll reiterate yes or no. Valorist.
Labour will aim to have close relations with the European Union. Of course, that comes under the international cooperation that we wanted. As for joining the European Union, that will be the choice of the people, should they want a referendum.
Right, and Connor of Fianna Fáil.
Yeah, most like all of the other parties, the relation will stay strong, and again, it's up to the people to decide if we want to join, and that's the way it will stay.
Alright, absolutely lovely. Random question I will ask in order to buy some time before Epic Noah finally gets here. Are any of the parties planning to amend the Constitution of Ireland in any way, shape or form? Genuinely, I'm curious, because more referendums, you know, just funny thing, really. Sinn Féin, go first.
At present, Sinn Féin sees no reason to rectify or amend the Constitution. But however, if an issue did come up that would conflict with the Constitution, that would obviously be looked into by the Sinn Féin cabinet. Thank you.
Right, Noah is here, but we'll come to him in a minute. Valorist, go ahead.
The Constitution is fine as it is. I've got a whole Google Drive of possible amendments, but I don't see any reason why they should be proposed. I think the Constitution is just fine, so I doubt any amendments will be coming up.
Fair enough. And Connor of Fianna Fáil.
Yeah, there was a slight proposal to change it, and that would be in our manifesto, so that's free for people to look at. I'm not going to go into the big details of it now, but if people are interested, it's in our manifesto.
Can you give us a brief, like, one-line summary of it for people who can't be asked reading?
So, amend a few different acts and how we can make the country more accessible.
Alright, fair enough. Right, we're going to bring Epic Noah on for his question. Noah, are you with us? Can you hear us? Can you speak to us? Hello, welcome. Ask your question, fire away.
Okay, so my question is to the Fianna Fáil representative. You were saying that what you said wasn't sexist, or your intention wasn't that way. Do you know that no matter what your intention was, it still came out as sexist?
I think this is directed to William Clarkson, so go ahead.
Sorry, repeat that. I couldn't hear anything.
I said, no matter what your intentions were with what happened and what you did, no matter what your intentions were, do you know that it still came out as sexist and it still offended some people?
Well, if it offended some people, I'm sure the individual who stated that remark will stand with them and apologise for such.
Thank you for your question, Noah. Wonderful to have you on. We will ask a few more questions because we do need to wrap up soon because it's pretty late, at least for me. I need to go to Betty Buys and get back to slaying in my dreams. I can't tell if my voice is still high pitch or not, so that probably came out really weird. Oh, great. But yeah, I'll ask the next question. We've got a lovely list of them right here. If I even can find the question. Here we go. This question is directed towards Sinn Féin, and it is asking, what are your plans, William Clarkson, for aviation in Ireland?
Well, under the appropriate authority concerning the department, concerning the aerospace area, concerning the aerospace aviation authority, rather, Lucy has been doing an excellent job regarding pilots' licenses, and we hope to bring more legislation concerning that to build the backbone of the aviation authority and hopefully make it a more productive sector. Thank you very much.
I will bounce the question off our other representatives as well. Valorist, what are Labour's plans for aviation?
Dean, Labour is going to work with the Irish Aviation Authority. We're going to work with Lucy. We're going to make an airport game for commercial flights. We're going to bring commercial flights to Ireland. We've already helped them work on a massive new airport in Buncrana. And I've personally gone out and got my private pilot's license. I love aviation, and more specifically, I love Irish aviation. I helped write the act that brought them into existence. I love Irish aviation. I'm going to be here for it. We're going to be bringing in local businesses to work in our airports, bringing more jobs, more employment, and more purpose to these businesses. We're going to introduce regulated small commercial flights between Northern Ireland and Ireland. We're going to put us on track to reach the increase of 15% in domestic employment, as we were promising, of course, through that scheme to bring local businesses more intertwined with aviation. Really, to sum it up, we're going to put a lot of work into aviation because it's a sector that, if you get it right, it can reap massive benefits, and we have full trust in Lucy as CEO of the IAA.
And to our Fianna Fáil representative, Connor, what is Fianna Fáil's plans for aviation?
Yeah, so I think the IAA have done a phenomenal job, especially for Lucy. Props to her for the progress she's made. We'll continue to try support the IAA, and whatever they need, I'm sure we'll be able to facilitate for them. But so far, I think they've been doing very well on their own, and again, props to Lucy for everything she's been doing.
Wonderful. We have a question now for all parties, and I will go to each party as I ask it. In the name of greater equality in Ireland and to live up to Ireland's place in the world, will all parties commit to hosting a Glasgow Pride Parade in order to bring the community together? It's only fitting this goes to Valorist first.
Yeah, for you specifically, because of course you say that with your voice. I mean, because obviously I've given you the answer. Yes, simple as. Before we go over to, I assume Sinn Féin is next. Can we really trust what they say on equality, considering their local government minister is a xenophobe, and their past Taoiseach and Minister for Justice and Equality is a sexist? Can we really trust them on equality? I mean, whatever they have to say next, I wouldn't trust. If they're going to come out and say, yeah, we're going to host a pride parade because we love gay people, I can't trust that because they don't like immigrants and they don't like women. And yeah, you can see in Irish General, they're actually, I'm assuming you mean Michael McGrath, called the EFSLA. So I wouldn't trust what Sinn Féin have to say about equality. I wouldn't give it the time of day.
All right, we'll go to Sinn Féin next. William Clarkson, your statement or answer?
Thank you very much, Dean. As much as I would express my support to the LGBTQ and those who identify as a homosexual nature, Sinn Féin do not believe that bringing real-life issues to Roblox is an appropriate thing to do, as it would just cause more issues than not supporting it as a start. So to confirm, no, we do not.
What do you mean by homosexual nature?
Well, those who identify as a homosexual, of course. Quite self-explanatory.
Okay, yeah, but you're kind of talking down to them, homosexual
Absolutely not.
nature.
I'm going to force my way out into that argument there, and I'm going to just move straight to Fianna Fáil to give their answer because I'm not liking where that's going. Connor, take it away.
Yeah, thank you. So I think we would love the idea for this to happen. Obviously, we'd have to work with the development team and group staff to be able to facilitate it, but there's nothing wrong with it. I feel like people should be able to enjoy the event when it does happen and if it does happen. But obviously, we would need cooperation from group development and group staff, which I believe they would have no problem with facilitating.
And on that bombshell of a question, I do think it's time to end. I do have to thank all of our representatives assembled this evening, Valorist of the Labour Party, William Clarkson of Sinn Féin, and Connor of Fianna Fáil. I can't really thank the two parties that didn't arrive, but thank you for Potato Cure of the Social Democrats for at least trying to arrive. Thank you to Welsh for, organising and Ashton, of course, for organising a quick solution to the issues earlier.
Dean, I'm sorry to interrupt you. Can we get closing statements?
You know what? I will give you closing statements, sure. I will go to... Although, I'm doing yours last, though, just because you were the one who asked. We'll go to Connor first, if he has a closing statement. Connor, go ahead.
Vote for... they will do anything you want.
You can waffle.
I hope you have a great night.
We move on to William Clarkson of Sinn Féin.
Thank you, June. I'd just like to end by thanking you and the team here for bringing forward this electoral debate. And I'd also like to thank both of my political opponents, Valorist and Connor, for debating such and bringing much needed political debate to Ireland. Thank
Thank you, Dean. Listen, to everyone that's listening, you've got three choices, right? In about 15 minutes, you'll have three choices. One, do you vote for the what we've clearly seen, sexist, homophobic, xenophobic, no ambition at all, Sinn Féin, who talks down to homosexual people and women? Do you vote for your second option? Is do you vote for a lesser significant party, maybe Fianna Fáil, maybe the Social Democrats, who exist to just prop up a government, or do you vote for Labour, who have a serious plan, who've come to this debate and exposed Sinn Féin for what they are, who've come to this debate and spoken assertively, spoken passionately. We've addressed your issues, we've addressed what you want to see changed. We're the only party, we're the only choice that's worth making. It's that simple. We are the only choice worth making. We're the only party that will stand by your side because we are on your side. Vote Labour in about 14 minutes.
Right. I have been given a statement by the Social Democrat leader, and in the name of the fact that he did try to arrive, I will read it out on his behalf because, look, he tried, alright? He tried, so I will read it. And this is from Potato Cure, representative of the Social Democrats, just to quickly get that out of the way. He says, viewers of Warner Media, I'm sure that this debate has reinforced your decisions for who you are voting for, whether it's for us or not. But I can assure you that the Social Democrats' policies are the most realistic, the least flawed, and that we can be the ones to put Ireland on the road to greatness. If you want to put our nation back on track, the Social Democrats are the right choice for you. And that is from Potato Cure, representative of the Social Democrats. That's all the closing statements. I don't know why I'm being sent another one by Sinn Féin, but I don't care. But on that bombshell, it is actually now time to properly end. Thank you to all our representatives, Dean, Ashton, fake Dean, Ashton, and the entire audience for participating. I think every debate should be held in this way from now on. But I think everyone tonight slayed, and I hope one of the parties has won over your heart as well as your vote. So, that's all. Good night and farewell, ladies and gentlemen. Get voting in how many minutes? 12. In 12 minutes, you better start voting, because otherwise turnout will drop, and parties will lose the confidence of the public, and then we're going to end up with a military dictatorship. Do you want that? No, you don't. So, vote, vote, vote. Good night and farewell.
Yeah, vote Labour. Oh, Dean's gone. Okay, while I'm still here, everyone, in 12 minutes, go and vote for Labour. Don't vote for anyone else.
I never knew love.